Welcome back to the Poriscope tutorial series part 2, the core workflow. In this video, we will focus on the second step of the analysis pipeline, reviewing and fitting previously saved events using the Event Analysis tab. We will learn how to load previously saved events, fit them, and write them into a new or existing database. So let's get to it. Reaching the Event Analysis tab from the Raw Data tab, which is where we left off in the previous video, is pretty straightforward. Just remember that when we conceived Poriscope, making the analysis intuitive was one of our main goals, and that is why whenever possible we made things in the UI sequential, so it would be really easy to follow the analysis pipeline. For instance, that is why the control panels go reader, filter, event finder, writer, and the same applies to the analysis tabs. So we are right here in Raw Data tab, and now we're going to go to Event Analysis, which is the second one, the second step, so it's the second one here in the sidebar menu. So now we're in the Event Analysis tab. Here we're going to be fitting our events and saving them into a new database. So let's proceed and do that. Again, we can look at the milestones we have. So event loader, filter, feeder, writer. So let's see the event loader. As the name indicates, we're going to load events. We only have one kind of loader, the SQLite event loader. We are going to choose the file. So let's choose the one that we saved before, which was this one right here. And then what do? We go to the login panel and we check that it is what we meant to load. 0 events in channel 2. We knew channel 2 had no data, so it is what we wanted to load indeed. We check the channels, the events per channel, sampling rate, and then we have the name of the event loader. Perfect. Just to make things interesting, I took the same reader from last time, just changed the configuration and saved 34 events from channel 3. So here we can see SQLite event loader 0, SQLite event loader 1. They are here. We can rotate. This one has 4 channels. This one though is what I was mentioning. You didn't have to save them all. I chose to just do one of them. So only channel 3 is here. So let's plot that actually. Let's do 0 to sets. Plot events. Awesome. So we can see them here. Our events. The indices must be positive, so I cannot go over there. We actually, a pretty cool thing is like, for instance, they are looking really noisy. I was like, this is not nice, and because I didn't add the filter. And the same filters, any filters that you instantiated, aka created in the raw data, will show here. You just have to select them. So now way better. And now that we have this, we can, there's no more, so no point in keeping going. Now we're gonna proceed and fit the events. We have 4 ways notably of doing this. There's 4 algorithms that ship with Poriscope. So there is QSUM, intra-QSUM, nanotrees, and peak finder. We're going to be using QSUM, but just for reference, QSUM finds steps change in current. And well, just so that you're aware, then intra-QSUM, what it does is that it detects substructure. Intra-QSUM is right here. It detects substructure. Then we have peak finder, as the name indicates. It finds peaks based on height and based on spacing. I have a lot of parameters here. And then finally we have nanotrees, which identifies nested sublevels. You can find information on the different parameters in the documentation. Again, the link is in all of the videos for reference. So yeah, we are going to be using QSUM. So you can leave the name as it is, keep it. You can just choose for that. You have to establish the step size, the rise time, and the max number of sublevels. because again, QSUM finds changes in current, well, step changes in current. And once more, as we mentioned, objects are locked into other objects. So here for the loader, for the feeder, it has to be linked to a loader. It's pretty easy to remember because if you look at it, it makes sense. So first you had a reader, and then you had the finder. The finder depended on the reader, and the writer depended on the finder. Here, you have a loader, and you have a feeder. Your feeder depends on the loader, and then your writer, what do you think it's going to depend on? On your feeder. So honestly, once you, either you can watch this video multiple times, you can while you perform the workflow yourself, you'll realize how, once again, it is a really intuitive step-by-step workflow that you can perform in an iterative manner. But yeah, so loader has to be associated, feeder has to be associated with a loader. And here, so this is why I wanted to load 2 different databases, because now we have 2 loaders. We're gonna use loader 1, but we have 2 loaders, and then we're gonna see what happens if we select the one that's not. So for instance, QSUM 0, you just saw it, it's locked to loader 1. You can also remember that it's locked because you're not able to modify this parameter right here. You have to create one, delete one, create another one if you got this wrong. So we have our feeder that works for SQLite event loader 1. So let's feed events. Feed events. Okay, so channel 3, 18 out of 34 good feeds, too few rejected events. It'll tell you why it rejected them. So too few levels, 16. So now let's plot that. So the way this works is that it's going to show you all of the events, but the ones that were properly fitted are going to show an overlay on top of them. So let's look at that. Actually, let's do 14. Oh, I wish we could do 17, but that's okay. So you see, it has plotted those. But I don't know, maybe it's just me, but something doesn't seem right. Like all of these fittings are out of place. They do not really match the shapes. It's almost as if I have fitted other data. Should I be concerned? Are my parameters wrong? I can check them. Is my step size too big? Is my rise time not right? What is not right here? So first line of thought, and that's why actually you should check this before you start your events, is okay. So here what am I fitting? I'm fitting my event loader 1. What am I plotting? I'm plotting channel 3, that is correct. Out of 4, why do I have 4 channels if my event loader 1 only has 1 channel? Oh, because I have selected the wrong loader. So really important, like, as you can see, it's running the fit because it's fitting data. It's taking the fits from the loader 1 and putting them in the plots in the plotted events of the loader 0, which is not right. So if we change this here and then we plot again, then wow, this is way better. Like, there's no point of comparison, and it is such a simple mistake to do, right? Like, you forgot to select one, right? But in this, it comes to 2 things. Ideally, I recommend you check which you're always like really thinking, okay, I have my feeder, what's my feeder for? Okay, I fitted it, but then you want to see it, so then you have to make sure you're selecting the one you want to see. Maybe there's a situation in which you actually want to see how, because remember, right, it's both of these were the same time series. Like the channel 3 in SQLite in the loader 0 and in the loader 1 are the same channel 3. At some point, they both contain that 300 seconds of the exact same 300 seconds of data. So maybe I want to compare how the feeds of one look into the events of the other one that had a different filter applied, for instance. So maybe at some point you'd like to do it, but if you actually want to keep your data like in track, if you're applying your feeder to a specific set of data, just make sure that when you're verifying your feeds, you also have that set of data selected. So then that's my feeded events. 25, 12, we go, then you have them. Perfect. And then if you're happy with that, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm gonna write them. So this is pretty much the same process as before. And then, so SQLite DB writer, okay, experiment name, again, tutorial, 200, 10, QSUM 0, because this is the only feeder I have. Then my output file is gonna be tutorial db2 because I already have a db here, and then I'm gonna click save. And okay, awesome. So then I can commit the events. I'm gonna click commit events. Super quick. And then here it is. Wrote 18 out of 18 events. Rejected events 0. Amazing. I had 18 good feeds out of my 34 events, and I wrote all of them. Perfect. I'm happy with that. I confirmed that I wrote all of them. And I can proceed to the next step. So now maybe I want to apply the same feeder, well, the same configuration, but to this database. So I'm going to add a new feeder, QSUM, and then I'm gonna select the other one, same parameters, everything. And then I'm gonna click feed events. We can select the channel here actually. Let's do channel 3 and channel 2 because we love playing with channel 2. Feeding was already completed in channel 3, and why is this saying this? Because how has it been completed in channel 3? It's the first time I'm gonna analyze in my event loader 0. It's because which feeder am I running? This is the QSUM 0. This is my previous feeder, not the one I wanted to do right now. So also make sure to change this manually. The reason why this doesn't change automatically is because there's also cases in which you could be applying the same one. Just maybe you're doing, for instance, for this one, you could apply QSUM 1 to channel 1, 2, 3, 4, but then you only do 2, then you 3, you 1, so you don't want to be selecting this all over and over again. So it really depends. Just make sure you are selecting this. You are ensuring that the selection matches what you want to do. So QSUM 1, then I do feed events. Now I don't get the warning because it's the first time I'm running it in channel 3. And here it is, 15 good feeds. Again, this was different. This is interesting because I had 15 events and I fit them all. That's pretty cool. And then 0 good fits for channel 2 because no data, but we already knew that. And we can plot them just to see. And if you didn't see before I even started, because I wanted to focus on the loader 0, I switched this as soon as I began all of this new process. So now let's plot that. And let's do plot events 0, 15. Awesome. It's so satisfactory to look at. So yeah, no, amazing. So I fitted 15 out of my 15 events. That's amazing. And now I want to write that too. So real important. I cannot use the writer I have because this writer is linked to QSUM 0, and QSUM 0, it's a feeder that it's linked to data 01. Now, another important thing is that you would think 0 goes with 0 goes with 0, which could be the case, right? But me, I wanted to do QSUM 0 goes with loader 1. So you just have to, unless you are doing like, no, unless you know you're always going to be 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, you can use more descriptive file names so that you don't get confused. So I have to create a new writer. I'm gonna do it with QSM1. This is my channel 2 and channel 3. I don't really want to write channel 2 because there's nothing there. Before I did it, but it's just to show it's possible, but there's really no point. Which one was it? The tutorial DB2. We confirm that. And then, no, we already have an experiment called tutorial there. We don't want to do that. So we are going to do, actually, let's do tutorial 2, actually, yeah. Tutorial 2. And then QSM1. Okay, perfect. And then, do I click commit events? No, because we already wrote there. So we want to do it here. Or only channel 3, as I mentioned. And then we commit them. Wrote 15 of 15, amazing. And now let's see how that looks in our database. So this is what it looks like. As soon as we open it, we're in browse data. Let's see the tables. So we were looking at experiments. How many experiments do we have? Tutorial and tutorial 2, because these are the ones that we save. So we have confirmed that both experiments got successfully saved in the same database. And this is what I was mentioning in the previous video in the raw data tab about, you can also do it there, about the fact that you can save multiple experiments in the same database. So if you have experiments that are related, then you want to be practical about it and have them all rest at the same place. So that is possible. You just saw it. Just make sure you have a writer for each of those experiments and that you don't have the same name when you're saving them. So now that your events are structured and fitted, let's move on to the next video so that we can explore them in context using the metadata tab.